All right, so this is an unprepared speech about where I stand in this whole teaching meditation and practicing meditation thing. And in my view, it all boils down, it all comes down to this very moment. So it's not about authoritative figures or books. It's not about some divine revelation that someone has to share with someone in order for that person to discover something. It's ultimately discoverable by ourselves. So by this I mean that if we want to understand ourselves, there is no other place to observe rather than this very moment. There is no other time to do it. If I want to know something about myself, where do I look? In the past, 5 minutes ago, in the future, 5 minutes from now? Well, there is certain value, of course, in reflection and reminiscing and understanding what we did before, but ultimately it's about observation in this very moment right now. What are my thoughts? What are my reactions? What do I perceive as myself, as the world? How do we interact? If I want to understand anything about enlightenment, okay, now heavy artillery came. So if I want to understand something about enlightenment, awakening, where do I look? Is it 1 minute ago? Is it 1 minute in the future? So if I have any potential in discovering any truths about these kinds of things, they are discoverable, ultimately discoverable in principle in this very moment. So from this, we can begin. Now, when we turn towards this present moment, we begin to understand that it's not enough to just turn towards this present moment because we lack certain skills. It's very fast that we discover that we don't really understand what's happening here. At least that was my experience and many people that I know. That, well, I'm not stable enough to continue this exploration for starters, right? So I want to do it. I understand that it's here, that potentially anything and everything that's discoverable is discoverable here and now. But I get drawn by my thoughts. I get involved in stories that I constantly repeating in my head. So I have to come back, I have to stabilize my attention, and that's a whole training in and of itself. Okay, so I begin to stabilize, I begin to stay longer in this moment in order to understand something. But then I see that it's not only attentional skills, but that attention depends upon my emotional state, meaning that I have to attune to the body to understand what's happening with me, with what's happening in the body, how I react, what am I reacting with that is not the body. Okay? So how do I understand that something is pleasant or unpleasant? Well, I feel it, right? How do I know that I like something or I dislike something or I fear something or I want something, right? So that's all body. That's bodily, biological processes. So by necessity, when I want to understand something about what's happening in this very moment, I have to connect to the body and begin explore this connection further. That attention and embodiment are not two separate things, but that they evolve in tandem. But then again, I continue to do so, and quite fast, I can realize that it's not only about attention, it's not only about the body, but it's about my attitude in general. That the way I want to live, the state that I want to achieve, ultimately, where everything is all right, where I'm free from suffering and so on, is a certain attitude. And so that was my personal watershed, a big moment for me in my practice, maybe after, say, 8 years of rigorous meditation practice with striving towards a certain goal. I have to understand, I have to find the answer, I have to awaken and whatnot. I began to realize that what I cultivate in the present moment is this striving attitude. Rather than if I want to get chill, if I want to achieve tranquility or at least be kind and heartful and so on, if I want to experience those qualities, those are the qualities that I have to cultivate, right? So it's not just about attention and, okay, I have to understand. If I don't understand, I'm stuck. And it's not about the body. So, okay, I have to understand, but then I see how my emotions and reactions interact with my attention. For example, we all know that in stress, our attention narrows, collapses, okay? But it's actually the attitude that colors our perception, that colors our attention and bodily reactions in a certain way. So, cultivation of kindness towards ourselves, of course, a big topic, a hot topic is self compassion nowadays, and, well, deservedly so. So, kindness towards myself, towards the world, towards my thoughts, towards other people is a necessary component. And it's not only kindness, I call those relational skills. So it's openness, curiosity, kindness, compassion, all of those, okay? Interest, genuine interest in exploring. So how do I explore with genuine interest is a very different quality of attention and being in the body than if I am an attentive sniper, so, for example. Right? So, where I stand right now in this whole meditation business is that it boils down to these three trainings or three components which are equally important and which enhance each other and support each other so that none of them works alone. So they are attentional skills, somatic skills, and relational skills. And in my personal journey, I began with attentional, then I came to somatic, then I came to relational. But working with people, I see that we can come from any of those angles actually, and that we can begin from any of those, begin to explore, begin to untie, untangle. So sometimes it's kindness that's missing. Well, usually, pretty often, this is the case with meditators, as I can see. Okay, we are drawn to clarity, and we see clarity as the ultimate goal, the ultimate answer. So, what if we add some kindness or genuine curiosity or openness to this mix, right? Or pretty often it's lack of somatic awareness and ability to self-regulate. Of course, every meditator sooner or later stumbles across this problem, that in order to work with our attention, we have to learn how to self-regulate. But still, many people remain heavily in their heads. Again, I have to understand, I have to find the answer. But by dropping our awareness down, by becoming more grounded, by becoming more stable, we can understand that it's much easier to work with our thoughts and attitudes and ideas about life and ideas about ourselves and our goals when we are embodied in this way. Okay, enough for now. So that's that. 3 sets of skills, and we'll continue some other time. Thank you for watching and listening.